What's up, people? Getting back onto a live stream today. Got my chiptunes running again. And today, this is where we got yesterday. Pretty exciting. You see that generate banner button down there? If I hit that sucker, boom, we got our little banner. I'm so excited about that. It's so cool. It actually works. I'm not going to save it, but it actually works. And I can change some of this stuff around. So a couple of things I want to do before I get started. Actually, one thing that's really bothering me that I need to fix. Where I'm going to get started is with my styles here. I'm going to reset my select styles to background of initial. And I think doing that, there's like this weird bug in Chrome where my select background initial unset, what could it be? I want it to match the other inputs. Man, Chrome is killing me. Background none is not going to work because that uses this background. This is dumb. So this is the background color that I want, which maybe Chrome will actually have it here. Background color, internal light dark. I don't know. Background color initial. So dumb. It should be the same. All right, well, that's something I need to fix in my Bedrocks project, which I'll do that another time. Another thing that I need to do is I actually fixed some of the issues with utensils. So utensils at latest. There was a weird change between version 2 and version 3 of Vue, and I'm trying to keep feature parity or keep it working across both systems from the same library. So what we've got is in my app where I've got my input components. I had to do this little trick where I was passing this value because vModel was not working, but now I think it should work. So, oops, that's not what I wanted. Okay, vModel should work now, in theory. Restart. I should see the numbers. Cool, I'm seeing the numbers. Those numbers are coming from my reactive data property up here. And they're not coming from there, in fact. No, they are. Okay. And if I move it up, cool. Still reactive, still working, still passing it into this component. Great. Things are working as expected. Now, let's do... I want to do these presets. So I don't want small, medium, large, extra large. Or I guess I could... Yeah, thanks, Cotin. What's going on, man? Or I guess I'm just saying man in the gender neutral term. I don't think we've ever met, and I don't know if you are a man or a woman or non-binary or whatever. So what's up, dude? Because I consider dude to be a gender neutral term. Anyway, what's up? Good to have you here. Yeah, it's looking good. The generate button works. The submit button doesn't actually do anything, so I don't really know why we have it there. In fact, we may not even need a form. Actually, no, I am going to leave that as a form because instead of, let's see, here's where I'm going to do some cool stuff. So this form is only going to submit or run this handle submit if the content within it is valid. And that's a little nice feature that I have built into vForm. So what we're going to do is, let's see, we've got the, this is some weird, oh, I don't have my syntax highlighting set up or auto formatting set up for this. Gotta fix that. Anyway, generate image. Where are we calling generate image? When we click that button, we generate the image. That's not necessarily something I need to do. I want to do that on form submission. So we should be able to do that. Get rid of that. Get rid of the generate button, or technically keep the generate button, change it to a type of submit. And then we can get rid of this event handler. So now the generate banner is going to actually submit the form. So we'll see the preview, generate banner will submit the form. I should see that pop up. Cool. And then if I change this to like 0, one thing we can do is say, hey, the minimum width that we want here, we can do this with just HTML validation attributes. So I'm going to cut this. Let's say the label is width. We'll vmodel that to the width. We're going to take vmodel from the height and move that into the first position as well. And then I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup here, which my auto formatter would normally do if I had it set up correctly, but I don't. So we'll just do this ourselves. Okay. Eventually that kind of makes it a little bit easier to see things, especially as these get larger. Oops. The other thing is I feel like this class should be able to go on the input now, and we shouldn't have that same issue that we had before, hopefully. Nope, not seeing the class on that. So that is another bug that I need to look into. Annoying. Not today, though. Okay. So yeah, we've got our class. We've got the input. Right, I want to give this a minimum value. So we're going to add minimum of, I don't know, what's a good minimum for the width? Maybe 600, I feel like, is probably the smallest that we want to do. Min for the height is going to be 400. It gives us some nice handy features. If I hit the up arrow, I can go up. If I hit the down arrow, I can only go down to 600 because the browser won't go any smaller than that. Same with my height, although I guess my minimum height actually should be 200, not 400. There we go. And then we can get our presets set up. So I also want these to be required, which should set that, yeah, required attribute, which means if I delete this and I hit generate banner, I'm going to get this little pop-up from my HTML thing. If I set it to 660 and I hit generate banner, it's going to say it must be greater than or equal to 600. And then I think what I can do is, as we see that number responding, there's something else I want to fix there so that the user doesn't kind of see that it can be smaller. And then it's like, oh, it feels like this should be able to generate a banner. But then I get this mixed message where the preview is saying, yeah, we have the banners updating, but the actual like UI is not. Do I have number lock turned on? 200. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's see. We want min 200, required. And then what do I have? Right, these are updating every time. I think I want to update that. My V model. There's a couple things we can do here. I think the approach that I want to take is basically decide a logical minimum value that data.width can be. Or if we look at our components and our preview, we can see that the props has this defined props, and where we actually consume the props is way down here. So we can actually make this a little bit simpler and say math.max, which will take the highest of two values, and it'll be props.width or 600. So this will say, hey, I want to pick the largest between these two. Same with this. Math.min of 200. I think this is probably going to fail because math won't be defined within the template. So what we'll do here is we have to go to Vue and say, hey, Vue, I could really use a computed function. Oops. And that's going to be my props, and my const sizes or size is going to be computed, which is going to return an object. Totally did that wrong too. Let's copy that, get rid of both of those, and oops, this should actually be size. Okay, style, width, and height. And then this and this is going to be math.max between the width and the height, and 600. But the second one is going to be 200. And what do we have here? Oh, shoot, I'm doing too many things, too many cursors. We'll say 200, escape, get just down to this one. Max width is 600, max height is 200. That should be working. So if I refresh here, I can see that if I go down to 60, it remains at 60. If I go to 650, it does go up in size. So that's good. The downside here, though, is that now I have a little bit of separation of the actual data that I want. Because if I look, this may be all right. Let me think about this. So what I'm thinking is, you have ideas for plans for the app before you start coding? I sometimes I'll have ideas of what I want to accomplish. And honestly, it changes right before the stream every time. Like, I'll have ideas at the beginning of the day of like, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do on the stream. And then once I start coding, I don't know if I actually start with that idea or a different one. So I don't know. I just kind of take it as it comes. I mean, there's like some thoughts throughout the day, but I don't have a script or anything. Okay, so the problem that I'm dealing with here is technically my data right now, if I decrease this, my actual data that I'm storing is 60 by 200. The visual data is 600 by 200. But if I'm going to be sharing this data around, like let's say I want to do like a calculation on it or something, now I have a disparity between the data I have and the data I'm presenting. So I have to decide what is going to be more useful, because really I could map this to say, hey, anytime this changes, let's actually set this to a certain minimum, which is I think that's what I'm going to want to do. Yeah. So on input, anytime the user types something, I'm going to let them type whatever they want. I don't want to interrupt their typing on input. But when they are finished typing, so at change equal, let's say event dot, well, what do I want it? I'm going to have a function called like, what do I want to do? Oh, we can get into something interesting, an interesting little. We'll get in. Yeah, we'll do this in an interesting way. So we'll say update size, and then that's going to be with some value. So let's do this. Vue has a keyword called $event. So we'll put this on both of these inputs. And then let's see, we've got select preset, handle submit. So we're still dealing with sizes up here. So I'm going to go here and say function, what did I call it? Update size. Update size is going to take, I don't know, some thing. And then for now, I'm going to console log the thing. So now if I go to my console and I make things kind of nice and big and clear things out a little bit, I can change this all I want, but only after I leave do we actually trigger the event. And the event here is what Vue gives us is, yeah, I guess it's the keyword here. So this keyword is going to be mapped to the JavaScript event for the event listener. This gets kind of weird if you're not familiar with JavaScript frameworks, but what Vue does under the hood is it's going to emit some synthetic event. So like if I just call this whatever, I think like update size n, no, because that's a value, right? So this has to be a special value that I'm passing in to this function. And where does this $event value come from? Well, we don't have that defined anywhere. So what's happening is Vue is providing that for us and providing the actual event for us. I hope that makes sense. But essentially, using this $event is a short way of doing this sort of like event handler that takes this event and passes it to whatever function we have here, such that the $event and now this, which is an arbitrary keyword or arbitrary parameter name, is being called passed to our function. I don't know if that was clear. I hope that was clear, but kind of a convenience thing that Vue does for us. So now with the event, I want to update the size with the event.target. It's going to be the target. Let's see. Here's my event object. The target is the DOM element on which the event fired. So there's my target. And I can see that the target is this input. And the browser does a nice job of highlighting which event target or DOM node that is. So with that, I can actually grab the value of it as well down here. Event.target. Here we go. Value 623. So that's pretty handy. And we're going to say at change. Vue also gives us this handy way of, they're called, I forget what they're called, modifiers, event modifiers. I think Vue 3 should still have it, Vue.js.org. Let's see, event modifiers. Stop, prevent, self-capture once passive. Okay, so that's not actually going to be one. Too bad. So that's not a modifier. I just made that up. But essentially, I need to convert the value to a number. So we're going to take the event.target.value, pass that number to our update size function, which takes now a value. And now we need to know which property we need to update. So what we're going to do is have another parameter called dimension, and we'll just say size. Okay. And actually, I'm not going to pass this size. I'm going to actually take this as the event and update size event. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so instead of event target value, we'll pass the entire event into our function. I'm missing one thing. This also needs to be the height. No, width. This is going to be the height. And you know what? I'm even going to keep this easy for myself. Here's what we're going to do. Update size, update size. We're going to do a little bit of cheating and just take everything off of the event object. So we're going to say, so const target is going to equal the event. That is going to be the input that we've got. I'm going to rename that to input. And then we're going to say data at input.name. So input.name is going to be the name property on the input. So on our input here, we're grabbing this name. And then I want the min as well. So const min, whatever. Min is going to be no, I want that to be the input dot min. Okay, let's give ourselves a little bit of help with some TypeScript type definition. That param is going to be called event, and this is going to be an HTML event, something like that. I forget what it is. Let me see. I always got to go to a JavaScript file to get it to work right. At type event. Body event, element, event map. Oh, it's just an event. Input event. That's what I want. So that's going to be of type input event. And once we do that, we should see some values. Property name does not exist on event target. That's not right. Do I have to do like input event of type input element or HTML? Oh, come on. You were helping me just a second ago. That's annoying. So let's say this. Can I give this a type? Type is going to be input, please. Annoying. Input element. What's it, a form element? input event, input HTML. I don't know. HTML input element. God, there it is. So hard to remember these things. Okay. That's going to be an event that takes that. No, that's not a generic. So there we go. That should work. It's missing the following properties, except align alt autocomplete. Well, I don't know exactly how to do this, but let's make this easy on ourselves. Input equals event.target. Thank you. So now we know that that's an input element. Jesus, that took a long time. Which means I did all that so I can do this and just get the autocomplete. So I can see there's a min attribute. The min attribute is going to... Oh, this is going to be interesting because what if this is not defined? Do I want to set a min? And if so, oh, this is interesting. Okay. Okay, I got it. And then we're going to say let value equal input.value. But we're going to say if there is a minimum defined, we're going to do a little ternary operation and say if there's a minimum defined, then the minimum is going to be math.max between the number, convert the value to a number of min. And let's see, if I do a string, math.max of the string 1 and the string 2 or 3 is going to convert it to a number anyway. Okay, cool. So I don't need to worry about that. So if we have a minimum value, then we're going to assign the value to whatever the largest is between the minimum value and the input value. String is not assignable to type number. That's fine. Okay, we'll use a number. And then min, what do you tell me? Really? Number. Okay, cool. I think we'll do this a little bit easier, actually. Okay, value is going to equal the input.value. If we have a min, ternaries are fun. Ternaries are great if you can do them in a way that like is easily readable. That was starting to get pretty gnarly, so we're going to make it a little bit more easy on the eyes. Okay, so here's where we are. Let's clean that up. Let's close that if statement. So we're going to say we're going to grab the input from the event target. We're going to grab the min value from the event target. We're going to grab the name from the event target. That's name. It's going to equal input.name. And then we don't need that. And then we'll say the value, we want to convert it to a number. And if the min attribute is defined, then we'll say, okay, reassign the value to whatever the largest number is between the input value. Let's see, input value. No, sorry, don't need that. We can just leave that as value, or the min. And we have a little flaw here too, because min could be... No, this is fine. Yeah. So as long as min has some length, then we'll convert it here. Great. And then we'll say data at whatever the name is, so width or height, is going to equal the value. So with that in mind, that should work. That should just work. Let's see. So I'm going to say if I go down to 60 and then I change, you see how it changed back to 600. That's pretty nice. That's because the min value on my input is set to 600. Awesome. Same should apply for 200. If I change that to 20 and leave, it's going to go to 20. If I change that to 300, it's going to update that and then generate the banner. Cool. Now, because we are managing here what that data attribute can be, we can actually go back here and we don't need this computed thing anymore. We don't need to do this math max stuff. We can just comment that out, go back to our sizes. And this is what I was saying is there was like a downside here is we were doing all the computation here, but by doing all of this computation in the app, the rest of our app can benefit from that logic without interfering with the user. So if I change this, no, I guess that's not quite true. That's not quite true. Because, yeah, I am updating this on demand. Okay. Logic still applies. I think I'm going to leave that how it was. That worked pretty well, actually. So we'll keep the computed size there. And I'm happy with... no, we're going to move this logic. We're going to move this logic out. So we'll leave it there. We're going to come up to our sizes in the app and say, cool, we've got our data. We've got the function that updates our data with a min or a max. And then we're going to say display size is going to be the data width and data height, math.max on those. And we need a computed. So we've got reactive, we need computed, and we've got ref. And I think that should work. So now in our data here, instead of width and height, we're going to do the display size, width and height. So the binding on the data still remains the same, but the data that we pass to our component for the preview is like the modified min and max, or I guess min and min size. So this can go down to 60. It can go up to 6,000 and be huge. It can go to 700, and instead of 200, we can say this is going to be 400, and that works as expected. Let's move this down to 0, which gets me down to a minimum of 600. And if I leave, it gets generated back to 600. So that is the user experience that I want. And I get all of the functionality, or all the data sort of still remaining. The data is technically still like accurate. Okay, happy with that interaction. Now I want to fix this select. So I'm going to copy this. My vInput component that I absolutely love can actually have a type of select. Now, if I give it a type of select, it's not going to have a model. It's not going to have this. So let's get rid of that. This name should be, I don't know, preset. Type is select. Label is preset. It's not required, doesn't have a min, but it does have options. And that's going to be an array, which should be, yeah, that looks pretty good. Presets dot keys, I think. So let me make sure that I am seeing what I expect to see. Or no, I guess I have it that I'm seeing what I expect to see. Preset keys, put that onto the DOM so I can actually see it. It looks like we may have an error going on. Yep, options.map is not a function. Okay. Clearly an error on my input component. So what are my preset keys? It's an object map iterator. Okay. So that's why GitHub Copilot was telling me that I should spread the keys in that. So that way it turns it into an array. There is my keys. That's really cool. I love that I have a component that makes this nice and easy for me and handles all the tough stuff for me. So then what I need to do, I don't think I need to map to any of the data. What I need is when I change this, I need to select it from one of the keys. So let's do on a change event. We'll set that to log for now. Okay, I don't need that map iterator in there either. And if I set that to large, we get the event. Once again, we get the target, which is the select input, and we get a value, which is set to large. Down here, I can see value is large. Awesome. So at change, I want to do some logic here. So I'm going to maybe make this easy on myself. Where are my presets? Here's my presets. Okay. And I've got this select preset function. I think I can make it a little bit. Well, I guess I can just use that. I already had it ready. Unchanged, select preset. If I change this to small, medium, large, awesome. It's working. That is so cool. My width and height are now smaller than my minimum, so I think it's going to, yep, throw that validation error, but that's okay. So I'm going to move my presets. Am I going to move my presets? Yeah, I think the presets should be like the first thing you see. Let's go up here, presets, go there. And then that means to match that logic, I kind of want to move my presets and my select preset function up. So it's the first thing you see in my code. All right. So now we're going to change this to LinkedIn has a couple of different options where the width is 1584 and the height is 396. That's pretty good. Actually, I'm not going to do it based on social media thing. I'm going to do based on sizes. So we'll go large, medium, small, whatever. We've got large is going to be this 1500 by 500. 100 by 500. What are you trying to do? Medium, small, tiny. Oh, thank you. Medium is going to be, so that one I don't want, that one I don't want. This one I may use. This one I just used. Dang, YouTube's got some big ones. Twitch is going to be the next size I want. Twitch by 480. And then we'll do, I don't know, maybe like a 900 by, what are we thinking? Are you trying to tell me something? 900 by 400 and then small 600 by 300? Sure, that sounds good. Large, medium, small, small. Can't type. And I don't know. Extra small. Extra SAML. No, small, please. Okay, that should work. This can go. That we can hit save. Were you trying to tell me something? Extra small. We'll keep it there. Okay, let's go back to our app. Let's select the preset, large. Whoa, there's my battle banner. And then medium, small. Be easier if I get rid of that. Small, extra small, large, medium, small, extra small. And the width and height are updating here as well. That's pretty sweet. Gosh, that's cool. Okay, feeling good about this. Generate that banner. Booyah, there it is. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to be able to upload a file, a random icon there. So what we're going to do is we've got a lot of work to do for that one. So let's see how much we can do. Okay. Let's see. There's our app. Got the log, input, width and height. I need another thing like this. That's going to be another input. This one is going to be of type file. File input. Let's see. That change, we're going to have to like handle this. So let's just put that to the log for now. Label is going to be opponent. Opponent. Name is opponent. Type is file. Required. Nah. Min. Nah. Let's hit save on that. And let's see. So I've got my opponent. I need to put in something. There we go. And that should have logged something to the console. There's my event. So now we have something that's going to be kind of interesting. Is we'll get the event target, and then the value is going to be not particularly useful because it's going to be like a string to the path, which is fake path, localhost, whatever. Not particularly helpful. And this is a security issue. Like we don't want to, the browser doesn't want to expose the actual path to or like the actual system path or what the system path might look like to the JavaScript application, because then I could build an application and someone else could upload a file to it. I could figure out what their system folders look like. Not good. But what we can do is, oh man, I've done this once before. Let me see if I can pull it up. On GitHub, Austin Gill. I've got an old project that's super abandoned, but had some interesting stuff in it, so I haven't deleted it. We should have, let's see, on the front end, should have some old components. No. Maybe on pages. Admin, inspire, login, register. This is not it. Client. There you go. Okay, so source, components, add content form. Yeah, so I should have a File. No? Okay, let's do a search for type equals file. Okay, maybe not. Single content. No. Media. There we go. Add media. That's what I want. Okay. Image preview. Okay, I think this is what I want. I remember this being a giant pain in the butt when I first did it. So there should be oh, there we go. There's an input with a file. Okay, let's see if this works. I need a function down here above my submit logic, below my sizes, on file change. And we're going to call this function on file change is going to take an event. Wow, I actually did that in TypeScript? That doesn't sound right. Huh, I did do it in TypeScript. How cool is that? This is way old. Okay. And then I'm going to have my input, which probably fine. I'm just going to copy this. And we're going to go to our code. On file change should be associated with our file input. Let's see what we've got with this. Clear out my console. Upload anything. Nothing broke, so that's good. I imagine that that's actually running. So the other thing that I needed was the preview. There should be a preview here somewhere. Edit, add media list, placeholder, file upload. Nope, that's not it. Image preview. Oh, there it is. So we could do this with Canvas, and I could also do this with an image. So let's put it down, I don't know, above the preview that we're putting. So image preview, I need to actually work with that image or work with that data. So on file change, events, files, this .file is not going to be useful. Image preview is something I need to define as well. So let's go to our data. Let's see. Image preview is going to be, yep, null is good. Let's see if I can get through this quickly. And we'll say when the file changes, we're going to grab the files from the event target.files, which is the input. The input is the event target. The files attribute should exist on there. If there's no files, we can leave early. Otherwise, we can turn the image into a data URL using the file reader API. When the reader loads, right, when the reader loads, it means it's parsed it's already finished reading the image. And then down here, it's kind of this weird backwards logic where you have to tell it what the action is when it's done reading, and then you actually have to tell it to start reading. Okay, and then I don't think I need that, so we can replace this with data.image preview should be the result of the onload event target, which is for the reader. Let's see if this works. Choose a file, choose that thing. Doesn't look like it worked. Excellent. We also don't have any errors. So where would it be? It should be like right there. Okay. So let's try. Oh, that's because this is not. It should be data.image preview. And this is complaining because ensure image elements have alt text. Yeah, okay. We can do that in a moment. I'm going to see what I can print out to the DOM with this image preview thing. So looking there, okay, we see data URI. That's good. That's actually super long, so I can get rid of that. And there it is. Look at that. There's my image. How cool is that? Super cool. Okay, cool. So now what I need to do is probably do something with that file. So that image preview should be in here. Gonna have the midground, the foreground. On top of the midground, I need to have the opponent. So class opponent is going to be some prop. So we need to do that with a bind to it and say this is going to be opponent URL. And that should actually be props.opponent URL. Opponent URL needs to be a string. Hit save on that. And I think with this, I can actually set this to a type of string and have a default of an empty string. I think that should work. Now here in my app preview, I'm going to pass my data preview as the opponent URL prop. And let's see where we've gotten so far. I don't see the image on the page. I do see no file chosen, so that actually makes sense. Okay, there's my image. It's on the page. That's pretty excellent. Super cool. Where did I speak at? Oh, this is from VueConf 2019, I think. Yeah, I just like it as this little like pixelated thing where you can't really see what's going on. But it's fun. I am going to be speaking at some more events soon, I think. Okay, so we've got that. Now in my app preview, in my opponent URL, I actually need to set this. I guess I don't need to do. I could either do the width and height attributes. Let's call this opponent. It's an alt tag. I don't know what I would call this. Like sand. I don't know. We'll work on the alt text in a little bit. But I need to change my opponent. So I've got my battle scene, position absolute. That makes sense. The midground. The image should be on top of the midground, so that's good. And then my opponent should have a specific width and height. But if I set the width and height, yeah, the chiptunes are awesome, right? It's been a lot of fun. Sometimes, is it loud enough? This one sounds pretty not so loud. Usually it's funny because for it to like come through on the microphone, which is how I do it because I don't have a super advanced setup, for the microphone to actually pick it up, I have to have it like blasting. So sometimes it's so loud I can't even hear myself think. But that should be all right. Okay, so we're gonna run into a little issue here. I'm gonna set like the width of, I don't know, let's say 70 pixels here, right? And then we're going to do a height of 70 pixels as well. And if I do that on the image, now you can kind of see it here. It gets warped because the image is not a square, but we're kind of squishing it into a square. So that's not what we want. What I want instead is I'm going to leave this width and height, I think. And instead, I'm going to wrap this with a div of class equals the opponent. Yeah, that's fine. Then the image is going to go inside of that. It probably doesn't, it may not need a class at all. And then what do I need? So midground, opponent, foreground. Instead of doing this on the image, I'm going to say, can I do nesting in here? Mid, or do I need to do, I think this should have like lang equals, can I do post CSS? Post CSS, perfect. I feel like I should still have my syntax highlighting in there. No, that's annoying. If that's there, am I gonna? Yeah, I'm gonna lose all my styles. Okay, so post CSS is not what I want. Let's not do the post CSS yet. Maybe eventually one day. For the time being, and without any nesting, where is it? Battle scene. What did I just get rid of? Oh, there you go. Right, battle scene dot midground. Actually, post CSS might work for this. No, this is going to complain because nesting is not allowed. I'm also this should be midground opponent and midground dot opponent and dot foreground. Is nesting going to be supported? It doesn't look like it. But if I do lang equals post CSS, let's try this one more time. And no, it just doesn't work. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so what I need is to copy this, get rid of that, get rid of that, move all these back, and then for the dots, we'll do... No, you know what? I can do this without having to nest all these. I can go... Here's what we're going to do. We're going to say battle scene, colon, where, and then if you are midground or an opponent or foreground. Oh, see, the chiptunes just got super loud. Bump that down. This should work. I'll say that like 50 times and then it won't work. But it is working. So there you go. How about that? I'm pretty smart. Okay, so the opponent is not working, or the opponent's not like really there. So those are all absolute position in almost their right locations. opponent needs to be, let's see, top is going to be like calc 50% minus, I don't know, 2 rem maybe. So that way it tracks with the midground, but is like a little bit above it. And then right needs to be like 2 rem or something. Right. So this is the challenging thing because I don't know how big those are, but hey, look at that. My little opponent is there. So now if I put my banner in there, I can see that is so cool. That is so freaking cool. Can we just stop and acknowledge how cool this is? I'm so excited about this. Okay, so I actually do know how big the opponent needs to be because it needs to be like, what is it? This is off by 1 rem, and then whatever the that's going to be too hard to figure out. I could probably figure out. It's just maths, but after all, we're just going to hard code this for now. So my opponent needs to be width inside, so 4 rem. Width is 5 rem maybe, and 5 rem. Cool. That's a good size. Maybe like even a little bit bigger. 6 rem, 6 rem. We're going to say that the top has to be minus 3 rem. And the right needs to be like, I don't know, something like that. 2, maybe 1.5 rem. I don't know. We'll figure that out. So, okay. This is so cool. This is super cool. I've got it in the right spot. Let me copy this stuff so that I actually have it. So I don't lose it when the browser refreshes. Paste that. Top right, width and height. Looks good. And then the last thing I need to do is set this image so that it sort of takes up the space, because we can see the opponent is like a square, but the image is kind of stuck in there. So now I need to decide, I can use object fit and do, okay, all of this stuff. None of it is working. Oh, that's right, because this needs to be, okay, this needs to be width 100%, height 100%. And then now that we have it kind of warpy inside of our opponent, we can say, hey, inside of this thing, object fit is going to be either contained so that it squishes so that the image never warps, or cover so that the image doesn't warp, but it can stretch outside of the bounds of its parent. That may work. Or I guess I could just avoid all this altogether, and instead of doing like a width and a height, I could have just done like, hey, this image is going to have max width of like 70 pixels, right? And then that could have been positioned in the right spot. That may actually be the right approach. Okay, cool. So let's go that way. We're going to set these to max width and max height, 6 pixels, and that's going to be in the right spot. We're going to get rid of the containing wrapper that we had for it and give that class there. Right. There we go. Okay, so it's kind of in the right spot anyway. Now I'm not dealing with that sort of weird box sizing issue, and it also is not going to warp, so anyone can upload whatever thing they want there. Man, that looks so cool. I mean, it looks terrible, but it is working great. So if I want to do like a small or like an extra small, there's my banner. And then I can say, you know what, maybe this needs to be like a little bit wider, up to like, yeah, 660, 666. How about that? 'Cause we're cool. That puts me down there. This is so cool. Yeah, you can like upload the image. Gosh, that's awesome. If I want to get rid of it, I can actually just like cancel that. And that should have updated that, I thought, but I guess not. Cool. That's it for today. This is a good stopping point. I'm going to stop here, and then we still have to. I still want to generate like the rest of the scene, so all of the Pokemon UI that you would see up here and down here. We may have like some text you can put on it. Let's see if this actually generates. Generate my banner, save, and then let's open that up. That's so cool. That is so freaking cool. Oh man, we have so much work to do, but this was so rewarding. We got to change the background. We got to change the little platforms that you walk on. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. I'm glad you like the stream. It really is rewarding that you keep on coming back every day. So yeah, it means a lot. And in the meantime, I'm thinking, I have a question for you actually, since you're here. I am probably going to stop streaming every day and start streaming like 2 or 3 days a week, but do longer streams. So probably starting at like noon or 1 p.m. and going till 3 or 4 or whatever. Is there a day that works better for you or worse for you, or a time that works better or worse? You'll have to let me know. Man, it's so cool when the things you build you actually are really happy with. I have an interesting thing here where we can like customize it. I think when I customize this, I should probably like reset this to an empty state. 12 or 1 is a good start for you. Okay, cool. Any days that work better or worse? Tuesday, Thursday, usually good. Dip out at 3:30 for meetings and such. Okay. Well, yeah, I'd say I'm leaning more towards like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. 2 hours a day, maybe starting at like 1. So that'd be good. All right, guess I'll let you know when that actually happens. It's not happening today, so I will be on tomorrow at 3. And man, this is so cool. Like, it's so nerdy and it's actually so like rudimentary looking at it, but the things that we're doing on it, so cool. And it's just gonna get cooler. All right, thanks for hanging out. I will see you tomorrow, and I'll push up the code to my GitHub if you want to check it out. All right, see ya.